Hello, this is Deborah with Black Education TV, and I'm going to be bringing you an update on the situation in South Africa, where now you have Israeli soldiers who are training white South Africans on strategies of war. They are preparing for a civil war because the South African government has stated that they will be reclaiming all of the property that was stolen during the colonial age, and they are going to be putting it back in the rightful hands. Now, so much is being said about this, especially by those who claim to own the land now, which are the white South Africans. Apparently, they're saying that it's not fair to take the land because if you are conquered in war, then the rightful owners are those who still hold the land now, which would be them, of course. So the question that I would have in a scenario like that, because it seems right now what we see happening is that those who stole land all over this planet are now trying to implement laws to say it's illegal to do such things. They want laws to be passed to where you can't just take back what was stolen from you. And so now they're painting a picture to make it seem as though it's unrighteous and unjust to reclaim or take back land that was stolen from your ancestors hundreds of years ago. They're really trying to paint this picture like, oh, they're so innocent and how could you take our land? I was born here in South Africa. Now, we understand all of that. But look at it from another perspective. You all implemented war hundreds of years ago during the colonial age, and you killed people to take land, right? Now you have these people now saying, look, can you please just get off of our land? And since we are in control of it now, we are going to pass laws stating that the land will go back to the rightful owners. So now they are passing laws. And they're not saying that you all should be slaughtered. They're not saying that you all should be killed for that land. They're just implementing laws. So is it not fair now when you all took the land, it was with Bibles in one hand and guns in the other. And you murdered. There were policies implemented. They're actually uncovering policies where, not necessarily in South Africa, but in other areas where they were commanded, the soldiers were commanded by the government to just kill all of the inhabitants. Now, that is not what's being done in South Africa. The government is the black government who is now back in charge to say, look, we're just going to right some wrongs of the past. But those who have benefited from those wrongs are saying, no, you are wrong. You cannot take back what we rightfully conquered you for. So is it not right today? Listen, from another perspective, is it not okay today to conquer? Seeing that the land is now back in the hands of the South Africans, the indigenous South Africans, is it not right or okay for them to do the same thing that you all did hundreds of years ago? Is that okay? Minus the murder, of course. But is it not okay for them to now conquer and take their land back? If it was okay for you to conquer and steal the land, is it not okay for them to conquer today and take back the land? You see the double standard hypocrisy that we see in this world? This is not an issue of black and white, but this is an issue of right and wrong. But you all make it black and white when you try to make it seem like the South African government are wicked and weird and strange and devilish because they are trying to right some wrongs. But you think it's fair. I actually saw one commenter say that it's fair. How can you take back something that was won fair and square during conquest and war? Now, of course, you know this was a white person. They're thinking or stating that it's unfair to take something back that was won in conquest. Now, I doubt that that particular person will ever hear my video, but many like him that agree with him, listen to this for a second. If you think it's fair to keep land that was stolen in conquest and war, Now that the upper hand or leadership has been handed back to the indigenous people of the land, by your own standards, it is fair for the South African government to take back the land. It would be fair by your own standards, because you think it's fair to keep what was stolen. Then it should be fair to keep or take back what was stolen. Since people can just go around taking stuff, right? Well, they're just taking it back. They're using a different method. Instead of blowing people's brains out, they are just simply implementing laws. You see, kind of like what we see all around the planet, where look at the Maasai people in Africa. The Maasai tribe in Africa, not in South Africa. We're speaking in the sub-Saharan area. I'm sorry. But look at those people, where they're being displaced from land, even now today, that has been in their families for thousands of years. So where is your cry for those people? The world is filled with hypocrites, people who only see things from their point of view. I like to see things fairly, and fair is fair and right is right. You see, this world has been taken over for a very long time by evil. Evil that comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Evil comes in black and white. But let me tell you one thing. One thing that the Most High cannot stand is hypocrisy. Where if something over here, a wrong has been done over here, but it benefited you, you're okay with it. But now that wrong is being righted, you're not okay with that. You are a hypocrite. And not one hypocrite will tarry in his sight, the sight of the Most High. It's very sad that we are surrounded by racial topics, and people are tired of hearing about them. I think because it actually reveals and exposes the hearts of man and woman, boys and girls, blacks and whites all around the world. It shows you where everyone's mindset is, because racial topics are treated a certain way. Either you're for racial justice, or you want to continue racial injustice. And so that's where we are in this world. And I look at South Africa, of course, I'm for the side of doing what's right. But the problem comes in with not knowing what is right. Not me, but I'm talking about people in general. You have white South Africans who don't think that it's right to have to give up the land that their forefathers stole. They don't think that it's right to take it. Now, think about some of the land here in the U.S. Now, we know this is stolen land too, but just think for a minute. If there was a southern farmer, we'll call it the Smitherton family, okay? And they've had a farm in their family for 200 years. Now imagine some extremely wealthy African king just came and threw all of the Smithertons off of that land, took it over, claimed it as their own, and this king died and he passed it along to the next generation, to his family. But you still have those who are alive in the Smitherton family, the southern white family that used to own the land. Now, if someone from the Smitherton family decides that, look, I want my family's land back, let's say only 20 years went by, is it wrong for the Smitherton family to want their land back? Especially some of them may have been children at the time that the takeover happened. but now they are adults and they're saying, look, we want our family farm back. This family farm or land has been in our family for 2 centuries. And this African king came and took it. He's died and he's passed it on to his family. Now, if you are a member of this fictitious Smitherton family that I'm speaking of, look within your heart and be honest with yourself. Do you think that that African king's family has a right to keep that land, especially those who may have been born after the fact? Just say there's a 19-year-old and he's like, well, I was born here, so this is all I've known as home. Let's say another 30 years goes by and you have even more of the African king's family who are on that land now, dwelling there, living there, cropping there, growing food, raising livestock, building homes. And then you have more Smithertons that have gotten older and they say, look, we want our family's land back. It's been in our family for 200 years. Okay, hypocrites. Can you honestly say that you believe that is wrong for the African king's family to have to give that land back to the Smitherton family? Do you believe that it would be wrong to tell that African king's family to get off of that land that he stole from the white Smitherton family 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago? Would you think that was wrong? So look within your heart, oh hypocrite. Look at the South African situation in the same way, in which I doubt you can do that because hypocrisy is something that is so deeply embedded that you have another explanation for it. As a matter of fact, as I was speaking, the wickedness of your heart was already conjuring up another explanation as to why the South African government should not reclaim land that was stolen from ancient people. You have already purposed within your mind that this is 2 different things. The Smitherton family should get their land back, but the South African people, no, they shouldn't get theirs back because of this, that, and the other. You're still probably stuck on conquest. Well, again, conquest was a law that you all established. Well, a new law is being passed by the new owners, by the new leaders of South Africa. So is not their law valid as you made your law of stealing the land valid? Okay. Now, family, you all know that I can talk a whole lot more on this subject. But I see my husband coming closer to me with that tractor, and I don't want that to interfere with the sound, so I'm going to cut this one off. But you all get the point that I'm trying to make. I hope that I've been able to speak some reasoning to the hypocrites that will hear this, but I doubt it. So family, I'm out of here. Shalom.